If you've been grinding resources in Wishblossom Ranch, you know that mining on horseback at the moment does feel painfully slow, but I've just discovered a trick that actually makes it feel like it happens in an instant. And I genuinely mean really fast. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Oscar's Cozy Corner. So Wishblossom Ranch has been out for just over a week, and if you're anything like me, then you've probably been deep in the resource grind, trying to gather enough materials to actually build something with all of these gorgeous new kits. But mining on horseback has been one of those things that should have felt convenient, but instead, at least for me, it's felt a little bit frustrating. The animation takes forever and you can't hold the button down like you can on foot, so it genuinely feels slower than just dismounting and doing it manually. However, I came across a trick in the community that was shared with me that completely changes the game on this front, and I had to share it with you as soon as possible. So we're going to talk about a really clever little trick to make your horse mining feel a little bit faster, and a little bonus tip about a marker tip that keeps navigating in Wishblossom Ranch a little bit easier. All right, so you can see that I'm in Wishblossom Ranch. I am in the Wishing Alps, and I've got a mining node over here. Of course, we were kind of sold on the idea that mining on horseback is meant to be convenient, as was everything else that we can do on foot being able to be done on horseback. But the problem that I've been experiencing with mining on a horse, in this case Maximus, is that when you break the rocks, you have to watch the whole animation, and you can't actually hold down the button that you usually would to be able to break those mining nodes and pick up those resources. They did make a change a little while ago where you could actually access that feature in the settings menu so you could hold it instead of tapping the button, but unfortunately that is not available while you're on horseback for some reason. Now, mining is one of the best ways to actually use your horse. It's one of the best ways to level them up quicker than anything else really, other than petting, feeding, or brushing, which are actually the most important to level up your horse by far. But mining is a great start, and I always recommend you pick that one as the first option when you can choose some sort of skill for your horse, because you do have more mining nodes and you do have the option to kind of cycle around and let them regenerate by the time you make your way around the map. So if you are wondering how to level up your horse organically or naturally, that is definitely the best way to do it. But there is actually a quicker way to pursue that mining with your horse. You just have to go into furniture mode, and you're going to be finding yourself a lamp. And one of the lamps that are best for this are the iron lamps, or the actual just street lamps that we got with the base game, which are actually a little bit bugged at the moment. So these lampposts with the different color lights, you can see that they used to be black, but they are now a kind of a washed out gray. However, if you put a lamp near or close to any of your mining nodes, you will find that the way that they interact, the interaction of turning on the light actually cancels out the animation of breaking the rocks. So it makes it a little bit easier to actually break those rocks quickly without having to watch the full horse animation. Let me show you exactly what I mean. So if I head on over to this mining node that we've just placed the light next to, you'll see that it says break rocks, and then you'll also see that it says interact. And like I said, what happens is when you do the animation and you click the button a few times, it actually cancels itself out. So you end up only seeing one animation and you still get the broken mining nodes. From what I've tested, this does work with any item, specifically lighting at least, that is interactable. You will have different size grids for these different lamps. So obviously something like the Hades Underworld lamp is a much bigger grid. It's a 4x4 compared to that lamppost that we get with the base game. But the ones that I think are handy if you don't want the lamp to be too in the face, you can use these little jar lamps or just anything around this size, just as a little marker on the floor. You can also make use of this trick with a mining buddy. I have Timon just in the background there, who is a level 10 mining buddy, so I'm always guaranteed a drop from him. And you can see here, I'm just hitting that and it's canceling itself out. I get a few of the resources from breaking that mining node, and then eventually, whenever Timon shows up, another one of the bugs in the game, I will get the extra resources from him as well. So you can use it for both. You can use it for mining by yourself, and you can use it for mining with a buddy. And you can see there's some pixie dust. Thank you, Timon. This is a really handy tip because it does work across biomes as well. So you can see here that I'm in the Gulch. Not every single mining node has the same amount of space around it. So you might be able to get some of the lamps closer to some nodes than the others, but you can get this one pretty close. It doesn't really matter as long as the break rocks selector shows up when you're facing the mining node and you've got the lamp within the vicinity, it should activate itself. But on the whole, it definitely makes mining a whole lot quicker, especially given the grinding that we need to do for all of the amazing craftable items in the game at the moment. Anything that we can do to make it a little bit faster works wonders. This isn't really a hack, or I guess it's a little bit of an exploit, but it's in the game. It's a natural thing because it does kind of cancel out that animation. So if you are hoping to speed up mining on horseback and you want it to be a little bit more fluid, this is definitely the way to go. The nice thing about using the lights, especially if you use the lampposts, is that at least at evening and at night, you do get a better sense of where those mining nodes are. Obviously, with a new map, it's quite difficult sometimes to remember where everything is. So having that little bit of light show up on the map, just to remind you where those nodes are. They do have the flowers on the wall to guide you, but that is an extra bonus as well. And an additional bonus tip, something which the community shared with me, which is really handy, is that the mining nodes, of course, don't show up on the map. So when you are in this map view, it does make it a little bit more difficult to remember the nodes, especially considering we have 3 huge new biomes. So the tip that the community shared with me is that if you approach a mining node, you dig yourself a little hole anywhere as close as you can get, or actually it doesn't even need to be that close. You just dig a hole so you can plant a crop. And if you place a seed in the hole and give it a little water, the nice thing is that crops do show up on the map. So you can see that I've got a little bit of sugarcane now right next to this mining node. And when I jump into map view, you can see that there is a crop there. So I do also have another one over here, just to give you an example. So that is where another mining node is. And you can use this for every single mining node if you wanted to, if you needed a little bit of guidance, just while you build that muscle memory of where they are. I know that there's one around here, and I think maybe one on this side. But if you plant crops next to them, you will be able to try and remember that a little bit quicker as you get used to the map and as you get used to all of the biomes. So there you have it. 2 really simple tricks that should make your life in Wishblossom Ranch a whole lot easier. The instant mining trick with the light is a genuine game changer, especially if you're trying to level up your horses without spending hours building obstacle courses. And the crop marker tip, one that I did actually know about from day one. Such a small thing, but it makes navigating this massive map feel so much more manageable. I will say that Wishblossom Ranch has been a little tiny bit of a mixed bag so far. There are so many brilliant ideas here, the horses, the biomes, the building kits, but there really are a lot of rough edges this time around. There's things that we were promised but didn't quite work as advertised. Plenty of little bugs that are making things just feel a little bit more tedious and frustrating than they need to be. It can be a little bit annoying, but at least tips and tricks like this, for the time being, can help smooth things out a little bit while we wait for any hot fixes to come. But if you found any other helpful tips or workarounds for the DLC, please do let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what's working for you. And if you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like. It helps more people discover these tips, and it lets me know that videos like this are useful to you. But with all that being said, I'm going to leave it there for today. I will catch you in the next one, and I will, of course, see you in the valley.